Os. Welcome UNLV students to the Shotokan Karate Studies program. By now you should know you've already warmed up, you've gotten the warm-up that you feel your body needs, you're adequate for starting the program this morning. So let's go ahead and get started with our typical, quick, general warm-up. Ready? And Hajime. Ichi. Ni. San. Yon. Go. Alright, warmed up good there. Let's turn to the side, bring our heels to our glutes. Good, alright. Let's go ahead and do some high knees as well. Get my workout recorded. Here we go. High knees. You can do this slow, just like I'm doing. Again, just bringing your knees up. You can do it fast if you feel like kind of bouncing a little bit, working your calves a little bit. Or if you want to go slow, go slow. And yame. All right, let's come up on our toes, stretching out our calves. And yame. Very good. All right, let's go ahead and do some body hip twists. And yame. Good. Arm up, across the side, stretching out our shoulder. Good, other side. Again, don't hold these too long. Just doing dynamic stretches here. Nothing too static, nothing being held for too long. Switching over. Other side. Good. Feet just widen shoulder width. Go down, touch the floor. Go to the right. Back to center. Go to the left. Back to center. All right, make that a little wider. We're gonna go down to the right, turning up on our left heel, stretching out our hamstring. Good, now we're gonna turn to the left in a long front stance. Pushing on the quad here, pushing the knee over the toe. And down to a runner stand, or a runner stretch. Good. Back up. All right, we're gonna do everything to the other side now. Leaning to the left onto the right heel. Toes pointed up. Stretching out your hamstring. All right, let's rotate that all the way around. Good front stance, long, deep, pushing on the quad, pushing the knee out over the toe, getting a good stretch. Transition that into a runner stretch. And come back to center, come back standing. Good. Turn around, fix your gi. Back to me. Yoi. Subirachi. Free. Yoi. Seiza. Dojo-kun. 一つ、人格完成に人を盛ること。一つ、誠の道を守ること。一つと力の精神を養うこと。一つ礼儀を重んずること。一つ景気の湯を戒しもらうこと。Ready? That's it. よい。しばらく。Ready? よい。So today's class is an advanced class, and what we're learning today is the kata Kanku Sho. All right. We're going to probably break this up into a minimum of 2 classes, potentially 3, and that'll probably be about it. Kata is not a very long kata, and there are some repetitive techniques or repetitive kihon combinations that you will do, and you'll see as we go through this today, right? So my plan, like I said, is today I'm going to show you the kata, introduce you to the kata, so we'll go through the first few kihon techniques, right? And then in the next class, we'll wrap up all the kata techniques, right? Put it all together, perform the kata a few times, and then we'll go through the bunkai for the kata itself. If we have to stretch some of that into a 3rd class, then we'll probably push the bunkai to that 3rd class, but that's the plan. So you're looking at 2 to 3 classes, and we'll get through the kata Kanku Sho. All right. This is definitely an advanced kata, and depending on your sensei, depending on the organization that you're with, the kata may be taught in some small variances. All right, and I'll kind of discuss what some of those variances might be as we go through this. And again, I'm going to teach it the way that I teach it. But there are variances based on whether you're a member of JKA or SCIF or that type of thing. So you may learn it a different way based on that. You also, again, may learn it a different way based on your sensei and how they decide to teach the kata itself. Now, typically, I'll show you if I've never shown you this before, this is a great resource. This is Karate, the Complete Kata. It's by Kanazawa. So actually Kanazawa does a lot of the performances in the book. You might recognize Kanazawa as being an excellent instructor, an excellent karateka. Lots of videos of him doing kata, and as much as I refer to him for a lot of the kata that I teach, there are some variances that I still teach that are different from his. So that's just another kind of way to show you that, again, it's going to depend on, as much as I watch and teach from what he teaches, I still have small variances. All right, so, and I know I told you this several times, to find your own karate. So you it's kind of like a salad bar, where you kind of go up and you pick the things that you like and you leave the things that you don't like. And that's kind of what I'm doing as well, and that's what you should be doing as well. So even as I go through the kata today, I'll show you again the variances, and you can pick and choose what you like and leave what you don't like, and make the decision yourself on what is your style. And again, like I've said before, there's no technique that's more incorrect or more correct. So again, you choose based on what you like and what you think works best. Maybe when we go through the bunkai, that can help you make a decision on what makes a little bit more sense to practice when you go through the kata as opposed to another style, because it just doesn't make sense when you look at it from a real life standpoint. Okay, so that's something to take into consideration. All right. Okay, So I'll go ahead and perform the kata on regular speed, right? I'm just going to perform the kata as I normally would. The kind of the bad thing about it is, regardless of where I start the kata, my back is going to be to you for some of the important parts of the kata. So maybe I'll start here or here. I'm just trying to think, if I go through this, I prefer my back to not be to you for most of it. And there's a lot of important parts that you're going to want to see that I'd like for you to see the front of my body so that you can kind of catch what we're doing. So I think starting here is most advantageous for that. And because my back or side will be to you, I'll just kind of explain what we're doing at the beginning. At the beginning, there's 3 Moroto Ukes, all right? And I'll show you them here, and then I'll move to there, and again, I'll start the kata. But that's what we're going to start with today, is those 3 Moroto Ukes. So, Moroto Uke, supported block. So, as you start here, we would go through protocol. You would announce kata, Kanku Sho, and then you step with your right foot to the right and perform a Moroto Uke in back stance. 1, okay, hands come together again, and a 2 in that direction, and then you're stepping back with your right foot into a back stance for 3. All right, so back stance 1, 2, 3, and then you're going to step forward with an Oizuki punch and an Uchi Uke, Oizuki punch, Uchi Uke, Oizuki punch. Now, I'll go ahead and show you that just because I feel like it's important, and when I do the entire kata from there, you're not going to be able to see it as well. You'll see the rest of the kata pretty well. So let me just do that beginning portion because that's what we're going to focus on and learn today. All right? Okay, so I say I went through protocol. I'm announcing kata, Kanku Sho. And beginning. Okay, that's the beginning of the kata. Now, that's fairly simple. You know all those techniques, so it's not going to be a big push for you to go through that and get that down today. Let me go ahead and show you the entire kata now that you've seen that, because my back will be, or back side kind of will be to you, and I'll go through the entire kata and you'll understand why we're going to break this down into at least 2 classes. All right. So I'll start here. I need to make sure that I have room for that back step, correct? Okay, so I'll go ahead and perform the entire kata. Ready? Kanku Sho. Okay, so there's the entire kata. Had a few small mistakes to be expected. You're gonna have these. Just, again, I think the key with any mistakes in kata is acknowledging them and then moving past them. Understanding that when you make a mistake, you made a mistake, fix it, and move forward. All right? Okay, so let's talk about the beginning of the kata. Like I said, this is 3 Moroto ukes. I'll face you. So for these 3, you're going to start as we always do. We're going to look left and block. So look left, hands come here, and then execute the Moroto uke. All right, so again, you're stepping with your right to the right to get into that back stance, to set up your back stance. So without any hand movement, 1, going back this direction. So you're shifting your weight to this foot, 2, and now step back with this foot stays facing forward, 3. All right, so pretty simple. You're staying pretty much in your place once you've made your step. So again, from Shizentai, or ready position, step, 1, 2, 3. All right, so try that a couple times. Again, standing in Shizentai, or normal ready position, you just announced kata, begin, 1, 2, 3. All right, now let's add the hand movement. Okay, so your hand movements. Again, Moroto uke. Bring your hands to kamae before you execute each one of these blocks. So if you're bringing your to kamae here, you're blocking there. Kamae here, blocking there. Kamae here to block there. All right. So again, it makes the difference on where you're throwing the block. You want power behind the block, right? So you need to bring your hands to a point where you can kind of wind up the block. So from here to there, from here to there, and again here to go there, right? So it makes sense to wind up the block on the opposite side of the block. So let's try that now with our foot movement. So from here, step, 1, kamae again, 2, step back, wind up, 3. All right? So try that a couple times, right? So again, from Shizentai, we go 1, 2, 3. Okay? So if you want to take time here, pause the video, get that set up a couple times. All right? Again, 3 Moroto ukes, all in back stance, pretty much in the same position. Like, we're not moving around a whole lot to get these three blocks done. From here, 1, 2, 3. All right? Maintaining good back stance throughout all 3 of those Moroto ukes. After that 3rd Moroto uke, you're throwing a regular oizuki punch. So stepping forward with your right foot, oizuki punch. Now, this is where you're going to see some differences, and I'm going to show you 3 differences. All right, there's 3 easy differences. 1, and then I will teach it as an uchi-uke. So you bring your hand to here and block. 2, block. 3, ki point. All right, it's 3 oizuki punches. The first 2 follow immediately with uchi-uke, and then the 3rd. Okay. Now some will not do that as an uchi-uke. All right. Some, after the back stance and Moroto uke, they're going to do the punch and then a slow twist, and a punch, slow twist, and then punch ki point. Different, right? Some, this is the other option that you can do. After the Moroto uke, oizuki punch, and this turns fast. 2, 3. It's up to you. All right. Again, I'm going to teach it as an uchi-uke. Kanazawa teaches it as a slow turn, the second one. So he teaches it from here, punch, turn, punch, turn, and then punch, ki point. All right. I think in competition, so maybe that's kind of what I'm basing the way I teach on is competition, and the way you typically will see it in competition. In competition, they're looking for that snappy keyhole technique, and this is not snappy. Okay, but this is. Right? You can clearly see a delineation between each technique. And I think maybe that's why they do it in competition, which again is how I'm going to teach it. So, 3 Muroto Ukes. From the third, stepping forward into Zenku Sudachi front stance, Oizuki punch, Uchi Uke. 1, repeat. 2, third Oizuki punch, Kiai point. Kia! Okay? That is the beginning of the kata before you get introduced to a brand new technique that you have not done before in any other kata. Alright, let's look at it. Let's do that whole beginning again. Alright, instead of coming to you, I'm going to go this direction just so you can see it from another angle. So from Shizentai, we've announced kata. Let's do our 3 Muroto Ukes. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and Oizuki Uchike. Ready? Each, knee, some, cue. Good. All right. Again, great time to pause the video. Go back over that a couple times. Make sure you have it down if you want. All right. I will typically show you this a couple times. We'll practice it 2 or 3 times, and then we move on to the next thing. So if you're able to learn that way and at that speed, great. All right, let me go one more time from another angle. So we'll go from here. All right, from Yoi, ready stance, we've announced kata. Ready? Ichi, ni, some, ichi, ni, some, kia. Yeah, man. All right. The punch and then the uchi-uke are not, I wouldn't consider them each a count. Okay. The punch and the uchi-uke are 1 count. So it's punch, uchi-uke. Punch, uchi-uke. All right. That's 1 count. So if I'm counting it out, I'm not going to do each, knee, each, knee. Okay, it's going to be from here. Each, knee, because they come so fast. All right, they're done so quickly. They follow each other up so fast that it's not worth a count. All right. Okay, so let's move on to this next item. This is a Tsukami Uke. It's very similar to what you have in Basadai. Right? So if you remember from Basadai, we're in a back stance, and then we transition to a front stance, and we do this technique. Our hands aren't touching, right? You have kind of a wrist lock here with your right hand. Your left hand is here just in case as a support, but it's not touching your other hand. It's different here, all right? So from the punch, right, we've just thrown our last Oizuki punch. Is it this side? It's this side. So now you're going to shift, turn your back leg as a 180-degree turn. So front stance to front stance. All right, so I want you to try that a couple times. We're in a right front stance from our Oizuki punch and our Kiai. Swing your left leg over to here. Rotate on the ball of your foot to be in another front stance facing the other direction. So it's a 180-degree turn in front stance. From front stance to front stance. All right, I'll show you again from another angle. So from here, okay, still in the front stance, and we've just changed direction. And it's key to get this down because like you saw me when I performed the entire kata, you do this at least twice, maybe 3 times. So get this down, okay? We step forward, Oizuki punch, Kiai, turn. and you automatically kind of have this swing going on with your arm. And that's important because that's what is coming with this Shotokan, right? So punch, rotate. It's as if the arm is coming down from your attacker. You're grabbing, helping with your right hand. You're not holding, you're not gripping your wrist, right? You're not gripping your wrist, so don't grip your wrist. Your hand is simply on top of your wrist. Grabbing the arm down, okay? And then you're going to pull it in and compress. All right? So pull in and compress. That you have their arm and locked in, and you have it, and you're pulling it kind of into a hikite, but not quite there. All right, so let's try that a couple times. Again, from here, turn, grab, and hold. Now again, my fingers are curved like this, so don't lay your hand flat across your wrist. Curve, but don't grip. Right? You're not grabbing yourself. Right? So it's just as you make that turn. Come down, grip with this hand, grip and pull. Okay, the grip is going to the outside. All right, let me turn, I'll show you this way. So, Oizuki punch, turn that hand out as you bring it to about here. All right, it's not all the way to hikite point, right? To about here. So that your arm is almost making a 90-degree turn, this arm. So don't bring it in tight like this. Bring it into just about there where your arm is at a 90. Okay, try that a couple times. All right, so Oizuki punch, turn, grab, pull, stop. All right, once you've stopped, you're going to move into the next set of techniques. All right, which is that kick. So there's a lot that goes on with this. All kind of happening at the same time. All right. So from here, we've got the grab. We're going to pull it in into this kamae. At the same time, front kick, block, and uruken uchi, ending in cat stance for that uruken uchi. All right, that back fist. All right. So that, again, that's kind of a lot, right? So let's take it just from here. In regular speed, it's... Okay, so a lot of things happen there, right? Around with the grab to 90. Then you're going to pull it in, kick, block, strike. You see the block. There is a gate arm block in there. All right, so that arm does come out for that quick block. Uruken as you bring it into hikite. The other arm, this hand that's doing your uruken, bring it in, the kick, block, bring it up and down. Some people will refer to this as a moroto uruken because it's supposed to swing up and around and down. Other schools are just going to come up and down. Again, it's a variance, and it's going to be up to you as to how you want to move forward with this particular technique. All right? Do you want it to come up and around and down, or do you just want it up and down? Okay? Again, I'll show you mine. You can make the decision. The grab to 90, and now we're going to execute everything together. Ready? Kick, block, strike. So mine just goes up and down. Again, if you want to wind that thing up and bring it down, that's fine. Let me explore that with you. All right, the grab to 90, take a second, and then execute. I still was doing my original, so let's try it one more time, sorry. So again, here, and go. So if you want to wind it up, wind it up. If you just want to come up and down, come up and down. Again, it's about A, competition, or B, what makes the most sense in a bunkai or a real life situation. Is that wind up helping more, Or are you faster at coming just straight up and down? It really depends on you, all right? The thing that I want to emphasize again is landing, okay, in this cat stance, all right, this neko asadashi, all right, so make sure that you're coming to a stop in that stance, all right, coming to a stop just like this. Neko asadashi, left-handed hikite, right hand has executed the Shotokan uchi. All right, let's practice what we know up to this point. Okay, so we're going to start at the beginning and go through and end. We should all be ending here. All right, so again, this is what I'm talking about. My back has to face you at some point. So we'll start it here, which means my back is going to face you. Actually, I'll start here, right? Because the Muroto Ukes, it's pretty simple. You don't really need to see that. We practice that. 3 punches, 2 Uchi Ukes in there. What I want you to mostly see is the turn, the grab, and then what we just practiced, right? The kick, the block, and the strike. Okay, so we'll start here. Start wherever you're comfortable, wherever you can make sure that you're able to see. Ready? We've gone through protocol. We're starting the kata. Ready? I'm going to count it out for us. And ichi, ni, son, ichi, ni, ichi, son. Kiai. Ready? Ichi. This is all one technique. Ni, san. Ready? Ni, san. All right. Again, after this, pulling it in, kick, strike, block, strike. Okay, kick, block, strike. I think I missed it just there doing that. I got caught up. All right, so again, turn, the grab, kick, block, strike. Ready? Hajime. There's no ki. But if you feel it, you feel it. Okay, so again, it is a kick, a block, strike. So practice that. And I think that's probably the most difficult thing that you're going to get in this entire kata. And because you have to do it 3 times. That's the first time. Kick, punt, or kick, block, strike. Okay? Let's practice it one more time. All 3 techniques. I'll go this way. I know my back will be to you for some of it, but that's all right. Again, it gives you another angle to view from. Maybe you'll pick up something that you're not picking up. So we're here. I'll count it out for us again. Ready? Ichi, ni, son, ichi, ni, son, hyo, ichi, ni, son, hyo. And yang. All right. I know I keep doing a ki, but it's because we're stopping. Typically when you stop during a karate class, the last technique you're going to make a ki on. That's the only reason there. There's not a ki there. The 2 ki points in this kata are the oizuki, the last oizuki punch, and the last technique of the entire kata. Those are the 2 ki points. So don't worry about trying to remember one in the middle anywhere. It's that oizuki punch, and then the last technique of the entire kata. So that's out of the way, right? You don't have to try to remember, oh, where's that ki? That's it, okay? All right. Before we wrap up class for today, let's do one more technique. Because, again, this is a little bit of a different technique, all right? It is an uchi uke and a gedan barai. So, we've landed our Shotokan uchi, and now we're just turning. sorry. Now you step back. Sorry, uchi-uke, gyakuzuki, oizuki. All right, so you've landed. Now you're going to step back with your left foot. Okay, your left foot steps back into Zenkichi Dachi front stance at the same time that you execute an uchi-uke. Here to there. Now gyakuzuki, oizuki. And now you're going to do a quick turn, 180 degrees, with an uchi-uke and a gate umbrella down block. In back stance. All right, I threw quite a bit at you there. So let's go ahead and get all that locked in before we wrap up class. Because once you get this part down, you're going to repeat it. Okay? So let's get this part locked in. All right, so from the Neko Asadashi and our back stance, our Otokan uchi, uke. Let's step back into a regular front stance with an uchi-uke. Gyakuzuki, oizuki. Now you're going to turn, uchi-uke, gate umbrella down block in a back stance. All right? So let's take it again. You're in a front stance, right? Oizuki punch. Hands come across. Turn. Oizuki or gate umbrella down block with your left. Uchi-uke to this side, and there's your stance. Okay, so it is in a back stance, right? We're in a back stance. Gate on, uchi. All right. From here, you just come up to this gate on gamai. That's where we're stopping today. All right. So let's try it. Not the whole thing. From this Otokan. All right. From this Otokan and Neko Asadashi, step back, uchi-uke, gyakuzuki, oizuki. Turn, block and block, back stance. Okay, I end up throwing this block out here, but it should be to your side, directly to your side here. Same way your foot is pointing, right? You're in a back stance, your foot is pointing that way, this foot is pointing that way. Your gate on is that way, your uchi is this way. All right, hopefully that makes sense. So the reason, right, I'm making a mistake when I make that turn is my foot is facing this way, so my block is facing that way. Bring them both in. All right, don't do like me. Bring them both in. All right, so let's try this again from another angle. So from the Neko Asadashi in the back fist, ready? Ich, ni, son, shi. Go. Yes? Hopefully you got that. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm going to face again in this direction. So remember, right, after we do the turn and we're in our double block here, just bring this hand up to your ear. This hand comes to hikite as you slowly draw that foot in. All right, you're in a Renozadachi here at this point. All right, but your hand should be here, and it's just a gate on gamai. It's just a gate on ready position. Okay, so let's try that. Again, do this a couple times. I'll try it from two different angles, so I'll do this twice, and then we'll go through everything we've learned up to this point today. All right, so I'll start here with this. Ready? On my count, ich, ni, son, shi. Go! And yame. I was just checking my foot there. Alright, let's do it again. I will face, I'm just trying to figure out a good position. I'll go this way this time, so instead of being that way, I'll go this way. Alright, so from here, on my count. Again, ready? Ich, ni, son, Shi. Go. And yame. All right. So again, pause the video. Try that a couple times. Make sure you have it down, because once you have that part down, and when I say that part, I mean everything from here. From the grab, the kick, block, strike, uchi-uke, double punch, turn, and ending here. Because you do it again, and you almost do it a third time. All right, towards the end, you get real close to doing it a third time, but we throw in something brand new, the big jump. The reason everyone loves Kanku Sho, in competition especially. All right, and there's variances, and we'll get into that. But let's go over what we learned from the beginning to stop. All right, so 2 different angles. All right, on my count. I'll start here. So just listen from my count. We're going to go through the entire kata up to the point we learned today. So we all should be stopping here in Geiran Gamai. All right, all should be stopping at that first Geiran Gamai. So if you know the kata or you're kind of familiar with it, I don't want you to skip ahead too far. Just stick with us here. All right. Okay. Starting position. We've gone through protocol. So we're starting with our 3 Moroto Ukes on my count. Ready? Ichi, ni, son. Ichi, ni, son. Here. Ichi. Ni, son, shi. Go. Ro, sich. Hach. Go. And yame. All right, hope you felt pretty good about that. Hopefully I wasn't going too quickly for you. Okay, it's pretty straightforward what we learned up to this point. All right, the beginning, we all know those techniques. Easy to put those together. The second part, right, from the turn and the Tsukami Uke, right, from this block, that gets a little bit more complex. That's why you have the video. All right, pause, rewind, go back to the point where you want to pick it up and really get down this section, because again, it's very important, and you do it through 2 3/4 times. Okay, so it's important that you have it down. All right, let's do it one more time. Since I went from that direction, let's start from this direction. All right, so that you kind of have a clear delineation between the two. Okay, so make sure you have room for your back stance. Ready? Yoi. On my count, ready. Your 3 Moroto Ukes. And each, ni, son, each, ni, son, two, each, ni, son, shi, go, ro, sich, hach, cool. And yame. Okay. All right. Hopefully I'm not going too fast there. That is pretty much the speed that you should be traveling at to perform this kata. Okay. So, again, that's class 1. All right. Probably easily going to do this in 3 classes. Okay. Class 2, we're going to pick up right from there. So we're going to pick up right from here. All right. If you want to look ahead at some other videos and how to complete this kata, it's perfectly fine. I understand it's very difficult to wait a week, you know, to get part 2. But it also gives you a week to practice this first section and make sure you have it down. All right, so make sure you're doing that. Take the time to make sure you have this first section locked in, because then we start the second section, and guess what happens after this? You repeat it. Okay, so Again, we'll do that part, and then we'll get into, again, some somewhat brand new techniques, especially the way they're put together. Some definitely brand new techniques against some bow blocks, okay? And then in another class, like I said, we'll probably wrap up and perform the kata a few times and look at some bunkai for this particular kata, all right? Let's come back to center. Yoi, subidachi, ready? Yoi, seiza. All right, today's meditation, I want you to go through what we've learned. All right, go through the entire kata from beginning to where we stopped today. Go through it in your mind. Think about each technique. Think about foot placement for those back stances, those turns from Zenku Sudachi to a 180 Zenku Sudachi. Think about hand placement, again, when you come up for your Tsukami Uke. All right, so just a couple of things to kind of go through in your head. Bakuso. Bokuso Yame, Sensen Yure. Tate. Yoi. Subidachi, right? Yoi. Os. Alright, thank you students for joining me for this advanced class as we learn Kanku Sho. Definitely part 1, probably going to have a part 2 and a part 3, so stay tuned. We will see you next week. Os.